All right, Jack. Mailbag.
Oh, I love the mailbag.
You've got mail.
This one comes from Dave. Do you want me to do you want me to take it, or do you want to process this one?
Hey, let me just like run through it so I can sort of throw it in your lap and we'll see what we do with it. It's like one of my favorite things. So Dave John asks a question which I think a lot of people can empathize with, right? And it involves sort of two different things. One is the frustration, and you can almost feel the chaos of landing in a gig where cybersecurity may be a little bit disorganized or may not be super existent or not super structured. And so you're running around, and as he puts it, I'm trying to do a jigsaw puzzle and I've got pieces from five different puzzles in the box, right? So you can feel that. And the second piece is that he's really looking for some help, some community to help him understand how to do this a little bit more effectively, maybe, or to feel a little bit more supportive of some good ideas. And so, Justin, when you think about it, right, when you see this kind of note, when you see this note from Dave, and it says, I'm looking for this, what does it make you think of?
Well, when I my first immediate thought was like for someone taking up a new security program or trying to like get their feet underneath them, it's totally normal, right? And it's saying like we have our job as security practitioners and leaders is to create order out of chaos. Like that's what we do. But the first thing I really think of, like the first visual that comes to mind, is moving into a new house and unpacking all the boxes with plates, dishes, cups, silverware that you've accumulated from your last three houses. And as you're unpacking it, you realize you're like, nothing matches. I gotta put everything into the cabinets, and you naturally ask yourself, you know, do I want to put this in? What am I keeping? What am I throwing away? What should I just buy as new? And you kind of use it as a way to kind of organize your cabinets, right? And so to me, like technology is pretty similar in this standpoint. Is like you kind of got to inventory like what you've got, get the lay of the land, figure out what you're keeping, how you're going to organize it, what you're going to throw away, and then what's missing, like what do you need as new, right? And so when I think about this problem, having uh, you know different, feeling like you have five different puzzles shoved into the same box, and you're trying to figure out which pieces belong to what, is exactly what I think of.
So I'm going to stick with your metaphor because I like it. Because as I'm thinking it, as I visualize what you're talking about from both the security perspective and from the moving perspective, you and I have both moved in the last couple of years, so we're very familiar with
Yeah,
how this feels, right? I think the first question that probably Dave has to be, thinking about as he goes into this, and we maybe can help a little bit, is what kind of pressure is he under, right? Is he supposed to be having a welcome to our new home dinner party 3 nights after you get there, right? In which case, the fact that the dishes may not match is less important than eating off of paper plates, right? Or is Dave's significant other saying, those are the best plates ever. They came from a combination of all members of our family. They have to stay. And so there may be some somewhat irrational affection for some of the things you land in when you land as a security leader in a company like this. So maybe there's pressure, dude, got to make it go. Like right now, you done yet? Are you done yet? Are you done yet? Or there may be, well, we really like that. We're an XYZ shop. And so, no, that's going to be here. And it's your choice to play or not. So there's like number one. Right. And then the second one I get to with your metaphor is that what about the cost basis of it all? Right. You land, you've just moved into this beautiful new home, and you realize, like, holy crap, my mortgage is higher. I can barely afford that. I cannot afford to restock the shelves with better attractive dinnerware, right? The old flatware is going to have to suffice for a while because I don't have the money for it. Now it kind of sucks, so I've got to figure out how to Martha Stewart the whole thing and make it look like a reasonable set, right? And I think it's the same in a security perspective, right? You land, and probably the first question you want to ask after is there a security dinner party tonight is do I have the latitude to make financial investments and financial change in the investments we make based on what I'm seeing all around me, right? So that I can get to a point where within my cost constraints, I can actually manage security.
I love it. I think that captures everything really, really well. I was chuckling to myself a little bit because I was thinking of the time, one of the times we moved a lot over the years, by the way. We moved into the new house, and we were actually entertaining some folks as like a housewarming thing. And my wife says, she couldn't. It was just like this patchwork quilt of like plates that we had accumulated, and she's just like, "F it, we're going to the store." And she basically took like the whole platform approach towards like
Nice.
the kitchenwares, and like she just goes in, everything's in a box, all the plates match, all the silverware matches, and it's just like it's like an all-in-one. Just go grabs the whole thing off the shelf in the cart. She's in and out in 5 minutes. The whole thing's done. Everything that was old is out. Everything new is coming in. Cabinets are clean, now stocked with new plates, new silverware. Everybody comes over, everything's uniform, ready to go.
I love it. So Dave walks into that. That means that he has budget, right?
Yeah,
He has budget, but he has pressure, which causes the organization to want to support his necessary changes that he sees lying all around him. And so he can actually go in and do that. So in that three-legged stool, right, of time pressure and budget and sort of the outcome, right, the quality of the outcome. In your case, made it, right, because you had two of those things great. You made it, which was great, and you had the financial capability of doing it. So pressure, goodness, right? So it all sort of works out. As we're talking this through, I'm thinking to myself, maybe one way for Dave to find himself a little bit more empowered by those around him or feel less alone is to have these exact discussions with his own team where he's at, right? With the people above and around him and say, here's what I'm looking at, all these different pieces, and ask questions. Is there a history to why we have Palo over here and Cisco over there and this new thing from Devo over here and a bunch of other junk over there? Is there a reason that I should understand before I try to figure out what I do with this? So you're supportive of what may be people's emotional connection to some of these earlier decisions, while at the same time you're highlighting just how crazed it is that you've got all this different shit lying all over the place, right? And maybe you can ask the question that says, listen, we're paying this much for all this stuff. I think perhaps we could do a more efficient job at a lower cost, either in terms of manpower or stress or actual real budget dollars, if we were to do exactly what you did, which is get a box full of security that all looks the same and sort of make it go.
yeah,
And maybe this is some advice that Dave could take on to ask some questions to help him be more in line with the rest of the organization.
yeah, yeah. I like it. just just for anybody listening, my story was not an advertisement for unified threat management. Jack, if you were in a similar position,
Yeah.
how would you approach it?
I'd probably take, and again, because I have never had the job you have, right? And so I'm looking at this sort of from the outside. And I think that part of what I might do, in an earlier episode, we were talking about security strategy. I might look at all these different pieces and see where there are gaps. Now, it might be that there's a piece of technology to solve every cybersecurity problem known to woman or mankind, right? But it's unlikely that they're integrated in a way that makes them effective. And I'm going to bet, as Dave looks at it, his frustration or his confusion or his discomfort with the situation, it may be that there's so many different pieces, it's hard to know what to work on first if you're thinking about them as individual elements, as opposed to saying, all right, here's the map of what we have. It looks really odd that I've got a couple of different management platforms, or I need 3 different skill sets to manage the tech we have. And maybe I can bring that up. And so I think the way I would probably look at it is I try to identify the gaps that are created by all these different puzzle piece colors, right, that are showing up. And then allow those gaps to dictate a need for someone to tell me to go bring them together. So don't necessarily feel like I have to advocate for bringing it together if I don't feel confident because I'm kind of new in cybersecurity. If instead I can say, I can recognize these gaps, I'd like to figure out how to bring them together. Do I have your support? And I think that that may be a way to get people behind him, right? To sort of do the hard work to learn and figure out the best way to get home from where he's at.
Yeah, one of the one of the things you said that I really love a lot is the it wasn't your exact words, but it was there could be a reason the things are the way they are, right? And there could be a story there. So like asking people around you, um, seeking to understand why certain decisions were made around different technologies or different business problems, whatever it is, right? Getting the added context might also enable you to be in a position to make recommendations as well.
Nice. And for those of you who don't necessarily follow us as closely or don't follow us in the podcast on LinkedIn, what have you, you may not have seen this question pop up, or it's any of the others we've reflected on over the course of the last who knows how many episodes. But I encourage you, if you have a question, or if you hear the way that Justin and I dig our way through this, throw a question in the mailbag. Most of them get hit at one time or another, or at least we respond to them personally. But this for us is a great example because we don't know what it's like anymore, right? We deal every day with trying to help people with any number of security challenges, but yours are going to be your own. It's the nature of security to be super unique and super personal. And we learn every time we have to think our way through these. So, I know I appreciate it when people reach out with questions like this because Dave's in a situation I've never been in. And it's great to think our way through it and frankly, to listen to the way you think your way through it.
Yeah, sweet. This is a good one. I like it. Anything more?
Good for me. Good luck, Dave.
All right. Yeah. All right, Dave. Need help? Text me. You need a you need a mentor. You know how to find me. Yeah. If you've been listening to this episode, you like it, you enjoy it, please rate us 5 stars. Share it with your friends. Also willing to. Actually, I was going to offer to help move, but I'm not going to do that. But maybe yard work. Need help with yard work. You know how to find me. Please like and share with your friends, and we will get you on your next episode.